There it is. Keep it.
Start churning butter and put on your church shoes, little sister, because we're about to blast off.
Ralph, what is it you're trying to say?
We're going to the internet.
Welcome to This Time with Daniel Shahbaz. Today we're talking about Wreck-It Ralph 2, aka Ralph Breaks the Internet. So, Daniel, what do you think about this movie?
I don't know why you're talking so fast, first of all.
I thought we had a time limit.
Oh my gosh.
Do you not like my speed?
I know that speed.
No.
Ralph Breaks the Internet is the sequel to Wreck-It Ralph that came out 6 years ago.
Again, thank you for the update on them being sequels. Creed 2 is the sequel to Creed 1.
Makes sense. But yeah, I can't believe Wreck-It Ralph was 6 years ago. It doesn't feel
when
like
they said that in the movie, I was like,
oh,
wow, this movie takes place in a different time zone. Yeah. But no, it's been 6 years.
It's been 6 years. I think the first Wreck-It Ralph is such a charming movie because Ralph is such a lovable character and Vanellope is annoyingly cute and charming as well too.
And I think they chose two actors, like John C. Reilly and Sarah Silverman, that we really didn't think we'd see in an animated film together.
Right.
Or an animated film.
Or just think that they would have so much chemistry together. And they're awesome.
They're really good.
They play off each other really, really well.
Yeah. So
we were both about to say something.
So in this one, the plot, which I guess we had some issues with.
Right. So basically what happens is that...
Okay, you can say it.
I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
So Vanellope's game,
Sugar Rush,
not Candy Crush. Sugar Rush breaks and it's going to be unplugged, so they have to go into the newly connected Wi-Fi network and go into the internet and find a new steering wheel.
Yeah. So that's the plot.
Yeah, that's the hook to get them into the internet.
And honestly, to us, it didn't feel big enough.
Right.
It felt like, oh, okay, sure, why not? Let's try it out. When we get into the internet, a lot of cool references, a lot of cool things happening.
Yeah.
But overall, I feel like there's too much at once.
Right.
And this film clocks just 4 minutes shy of 2 hours.
Right.
Now, animated movies typically are not this long.
No, it's true.
So you really feel the weight and the length of this movie. Like, when we got towards, like, the third act of this film, we're like, oh, wow, that's new. They introduced something completely new.
Right.
And just said, go with it. And it kept making the movie go on for so long.
Right. And I think that's something, too, that as much as I love the first Wreck-It Ralph film, something that kind of didn't sit as well with me is that in a world about video game characters and things like that, it was so stationary and staying in that sugar rush. Is it Sugar Rush?
Slaughterhouse? Slaughter Race.
No. In the
Sugar Rush.
Sugar Rush. Her game. Vanellope's game.
Yeah.
It stayed. The majority of the movie stayed in that video game. Now in this movie, the majority of the movie stayed in like maybe 2 or 3 different places.
Yeah.
So in a movie about the internet and kind of going through all these amazing places of opportunity, like there's not a lot of uniqueness to where they're hanging out.
And the one place that we would hope they'd stay longer, which was when they went to Disney.
Right.
Like you see in the trailers, that part is absolutely amazing.
Right. And that's pretty much it though when it comes to like what that Disney portion is. I mean, there's some extra scenes and things like that, nothing that we're going to spoil, but I was hoping for so much more.
I was hoping for a little bit more too.
Yeah, and I guess that's Disney being a little bit more self-aware of, hey, let's not just reflect this about us.
Yeah.
But
it can be a bit egocentric.
Right. But the problem is that stuff was so good and so funny that it feels like that's where they spent the bulk of their time kind of designing and reworking and making sure that part played so well, but everything else kind of didn't deliver as much.
Yeah, and like there's elements in this movie that introduce, like I was discussing in the car with you, a virus.
Right.
And to be totally honest with you, I feel like we don't hear the words virus that often.
Yeah,
anymore.
I felt like this was like an early 2000s plot.
Especially in a day and age where most people are on their iOS or Android devices, you're really not seeing viruses.
Right.
So
in that traditional sense.
sense, and this movie really plays that up.
Right.
And again, that comes in so late into the film that you're like, oh, sure, yeah, why not? But again, I think that it was too many ideas in one movie.
Right. A lot of ideas in this movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things happening where you're kind of getting distracted of what's happening in the background because like, oh, what's that? And you're not really focusing on Ralph and Vanellope in this movie.
Which was what made it really slow for me at times.
Right.
I still enjoyed it. I still had a lot of fun.
Sure.
But overall, I think you could say
stream it.
Now, one thing I want to add now for our viewers is giving them notice about if there's after credit scenes or mid credit scenes. Not giving them what the scenes are,
right?
But letting them know there are if they want to hang around. Because for non-traditional movies like this, there's a mid credit scene and an after credit scene if you want to hang around for the guys.
So definitely stay along for that Really, it was worth it.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Thank you for watching, and if you like what we're doing here, please comment, like, subscribe. Like we said before, we have tons of content coming for December. That was this time.
And we'll see you next.
I bowed.
Did you bow?
I bowed.
Mulan.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.